at the shop here today, and I'm going to be converting it to disc brakes. So if you can hear me over the heater here, I will show you the parts that we have and the parts that we had to buy to do this conversion. And I'll get it up on the hoist here, and we'll take some wheels off and see what we need to do.
No one seems to talk about these brake kits that are on eBay, at least not here on YouTube, for the A-body, B and E-body Mopars, I guess. So I bought a set and it was about 400 bucks, and I wasn't totally thrilled. I don't really need slotted and drilled rotors, but I guess that's what I'm gonna get. The price is right, so I'm gonna put them on my car. I'll show you how I do that, and maybe I'll give you a review when it's all together. I'll talk about the quality and stuff as I go through it if I find any quality issues. That's just the heater kicking on in the background there. So if I find any quality issues or anything, I will let you know, and I'll show you how it works. Well, it looks like I have all my parts here. I've got rotors, calipers, bearings, the steering knuckle, caliper bracket, and some bolts and things that came with my kit. So I just put all that together hand tight just to check fitment. Everything seems to fit good, so I went out and got myself a lower ball joint and an upper control arm. And these are from QA1. It's going to add a little caster, should help it drive a little better. These are from my friendly local auto parts store. Just the lower ball joints for a 76 Duster or whatever I put in. Should get us the right parts to make this all fit. Remember, when you're working on these older cars, always check to make sure you don't have left-handed lug nuts, and if you do, make sure to take them off the right way. I like to use a chisel and a hammer to take these dust caps off. After removing the cotter pin and the lock, this nut that holds the wheel bearing on should come off my hand. It seems these drums have worn a groove in with the brake shoes have worn a groove into the drum, so I'm going to have to back them off to get this drum off. That sure made that easier. Looks like we'll just have a couple bolts and we'll be able to pull this vacuum plate and all the brakes right off the spindle. Gotta remember to disconnect our brake line. Junk. Now we'll work on removing this lower ball joint and the whole upper control arm and the spindle together. Let's take this old control arm off. It's junk. Looks like I had to do a tiny bit of clearancing right here so that I could get full travel out of that control arm. Other than that, everything's bolting in real nice. Looking pretty good. I personally like to pack these bearings the old-fashioned way. Get some grease in your hand. Start biting the bearing into that grease. And you'll notice, if I can get that on the camera, that the grease starts coming up through in between the bearing needles, or this one, rollers, and you just rotate it a little bit, keep going around until you have that bearing completely packed with grease. I'll get these packed up and I'll show you how to install them in the seal. All right, we've got this bearing packed up and I've got the seal lip in here greased. I found something suitable that won't damage the lip of this seal, but will seat fully around on the outside of the seal here, and I can use it to beat this seal in. It's nice and flush around the edge here. That's what we want to see. I'm going to tighten this down here, but I'll show you how to do that. On adjustable front wheel bearings like this, when everything's new, I like to tighten them down pretty tight while spinning the rotor or dropping your wrench. Or if you have drums, with your drum, you spin your drum or your rotor and get it nice and snug and spin it a few times. And make sure all your bearing races and your bearings have seated, and they're going to be where you want them. You can snug it down until it starts to get a little firm to turn, and then you want to back it back off again. And you want to spin that in just about finger tight. It'll stop with your fingers, that's pretty much where you want it, especially with new bearings. Everything's spinning free. We'll get this lock put on here and put a cotter key through it. Let's do it down. I don't think it really matters. It looks like they're gonna clear. I'll get this hammered on. I like to use a punch or something around the outside edge instead of hitting on the face of it and denting it up. If you are gonna hit on the face of it, you do it gently with a rubber soft face mallet and don't dent it. If it gets a little tight, go around the edge with like a large punch or something so you don't ding it up too bad. Once I get this caliper bracket mounted, I still haven't painted my caliper. I haven't decided what I want to do for a color yet. I'm pretty sure this Chinese stuff would rust out pretty bad if I don't paint it, so I think I'll go paint that caliper. I'm thinking black, and get this stuff mounted up here. Keep going with our project. Now, one of the things I did notice here was the rust on this rotor. It's pretty minor. Just looks like a little bit of moisture got in here where the studs pressed through, and so it's on about 3 of them. Didn't concern me. I don't think that it was on the other rotor, so I guess you guys get to choose whether that would distract you from buying this, but other than that, I haven't found any real quality issues. Everything seems to fit together fine. There was a couple bolts that didn't come with the kit, but I was able to source those. So other than that, we'll just put these brakes on this car and see how they work. Now, I noticed that this brake in this caliper, this pad in this caliper is kind of loose. I was informed by some older guys than me, who've been around a little longer, that you can bend these tabs in a little bit and it takes care of that looseness. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, now I'm curious to see how this brake line's gonna line up and if it's gonna go to the stock location reasonably with the supplied brake line. So make sure I install the copper washers here. It looks like there's plenty of clearance to index this brake hose pointing any direction I'd like. I think I'm gonna try straight back first. So it looks like I was able to route that brake line around the back, and I don't know if you can see that, it's a little dark, but just pointing in a little bit back, and it seems to clear everything, even on hard cornering. That pretty much does it for this side. If I think of something I missed, I'll try to show you on the other side. This brake set is upgraded me to the 5 on 4.5 space bolt pattern. So that will match my back, which you haven't seen yet, but 5 on 4.5 here because I'm running a Ford 8.8. I used the 2 driver's side axles and narrowed it, and it seems to fit in here really nice. So I should have the same bolt pattern all the way around when I'm done, and that's good. Better than that crappy little small bolt pattern and drum brakes with discs in the back.